Well, hello everyone. Welcome to ScrivTalk. I'm Liana George, co-owner and marketing director here at Scrivenings Press, and I'm so glad you've joined us today. On this channel, we love pulling back the curtain on our authors' lives and stories, giving you a behind-the-scenes look at the inspiration and creativity behind their books. So today I'm thrilled to be chatting with Shirley Gould, author of the Paradise Inn series. Her novels transport readers to the breathtaking coast of Mombasa, Kenya, weaving together romance, suspense, and the unique culture of East Africa. Her upcoming release, Chasing Tanzanite, continues the saga of Angelica Ward and Tanner Zarello, plunging them into a world of sparkling gems, deadly intrigue, and heart-stirring romance. With safari adventures, cultural challenges, and danger lurking in unexpected places, Shirley's stories promise readers both escapism and excitement. But before we dive in, let me tell you a little bit more about the woman behind the book. Shirley is an inspirational speaker, an African missionary, and an author. She's the founder of Kenya's Kids Home for Street Children, an orphanage in Kenya. And her passion for the mission drives her to share her stories and adventures to inspire others toward fulfilling the Great Commission. She's written nonfiction for 30 years and is writing Christian fiction novels now. Her debut novel, The Sahar of Zanzibar, was released in May of 2021. And then in 2023, Escape from Timbuktu was released, and the sequel, Sunset over Swaziland. I hope I'm just butchering these names. Apologies to Africa and Shirley. They hit the shelves in 2024. And then later that year, she is just a prolific writer, y'all. She released The Kissing Ball in 2024 November. So she lives in Nashville, Tennessee, enjoying her seven amazing grandchildren. So welcome, Shirley, to Script Talk.
Thank you, Liana. Thank you. And I'm just excited about my new release and excited about being a part of Suspense.
Oh, well, we're so thrilled to have you. And so, I mean, you're just a woman that is very, I like the word to use exotic actually, because I mean, you just have this great history of who you are and your mission and your nonprofit and just all these things you've got going on. And then, oh yeah, by the way, you just write tons of books. So just so exciting to meet someone with such a prolific background and that kind of stuff. So I guess what probably all the people watching and listening want to know is how has your writing your journey and your years in Africa shaped the stories you tell?
Well, I've always loved romance and I've always read Christian fiction. All the time I was in Africa, I would take books with me and read because you always hurry up and wait when you're there.
Yeah.
So, because the Africans are never on time. And I just started, while I was a missionary, I took notebooks with me and I would write down everything I could see, smell,
Mm,
touch, hear, everything or that was around me. And I just kept doing this and doing this and doing this. I was just doing research for novels. So
yeah.
I'm using all that now. And I took shoe boxes full of pictures,
Uh,
because back then in the 90s, we've written those pictures.
that's right.
All this digital stuff. Yeah. So so when I'm ready to do a novel, I want to take the people. I want them to actually experience it through my words
Yeah.
and use our experiences. We were missionaries for 14 years.
Mm,
And so I want to use our experiences and let them and just paint that picture for them
mm.
of what happened to us. But also I want to just to let people have a sense of being there and experiencing with so much adventure, so
Yeah.
much so much culture. There's just, I mean, there's 52 tribes and every one of them's different. So
Yeah.
I like to take people with me there.
Uh-huh.
I've enjoyed taking teams if I can pick it. And I enjoy taking teams and thinking about, what important
Yeah.
building churches and memory of us. But that's just to keep the mission going is what I'm doing. So with these books, I just want to take people there.
Yeah.
Let you sit with me.
And I think, they always tell us write what you know. And so I think you know Africa, right? You've been there, and I love that you took notes. My books are all set in China, where I lived. And so people are always sending me emails and asking me, "Did you live in China? Because you write like you know so much about it." And I'm like, "Well, I only lived there for 2.5 years. So I know with the sights and the smells, just like you said, right? And so it makes it enables to take people there without needing a passport. So that's great. And I love that you do that because that just makes the story come more to life. All
Well,
right.
it's alive for me, you know. And with loss in my life, like losing my husband,
Mhm.
that's when I delved. He had already been sending me to writers' conferences. And
Mm,
because I had a desire to write Christian fiction, and it's not easy.
no.
And so he had already been sending me, but after I lost him and he died suddenly, then I began to when I was in my fictional world, I wasn't in my own.
Yeah.
It's a reprieve for me.
Yeah.
And that's when Chasing Tanzanite started long ago. Long ago. This book was the one that I learned and rewrote and rewrote. So
Mm,
it's dear to my
dear to your heart. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about your book and your series. So, for those who might be new to your work, what is the Paradise Inn series about? And what
heart.
inspired you to begin with the kissing ball?
Okay. The kissing ball is basically African mistletoe. And it and that's because she loved tape. She just all growing up here, she loved tape. And so Angelica did. They call her Angie in the book. And it really brings them together in a cute way. And there is danger. There's paparazzi. There's stuff that happens. And he comes to her rescue over and over. And it shows who they both are to my readers. It lets them fall in love with them
Okay.
as they fall in love with each other.
Yeah.
And they do go to Africa in the book and it have some fun experiences. And it just gives everybody a taste of being in Kenya. My
Mm,
other series is about different Swaziland, Timbuktu, in Mali, West Africa,
okay.
and being on the island of Zanzibar. So and that was flight attendants. So
Okay.
that's a totally different series, totally different group of characters. So this group is all in Kenya. This is where I live. This is where I worked. For 10 solid years was the country of Kenya. Then in the last 4 years, we went to these other countries, and that's when I got the information from other books.
Okay.
So, but this one in Kenya, it's really about uh, the Tanzanite stones.
Okay.
And I took a liberty and put some on this side of the Kenyan border, but they're really all in Tanzania, right over the border, been to the mine. And
Okay.
so, and I wear Tanzanite stones, and I just, I took a liberty to do that, but somebody murdered in the mine.
Okay.
And so that starts everything but during the time of him being 10,000 miles away, their relationship that started at the kissing ball is kind of waned. And so
Mm,
it's a recapturing of the love that they had. It's like
okay.
a second chance kind of. And so
Okay.
but in the midst of that, she's just so full of grit and full of herself that she thinks she can solve this murder, and she gets herself in all kinds of problems. And so it just throws them together over and over and over. And he steps in front of a bullet and taking it for her, and it just uh, shows how much that you can love someone else, and no matter the obstacles, no matter the culture, no matter the difficulties you face, you
Yeah.
can, it will come. And but the Lord strengthened them through all of this, and their personal spiritual journeys were talked about in the book as well.
Yeah.
So I like to show as a missionary, people say, why are Christian fiction? I said, but now I'm showing people that know me or that read my books or that know of my husband and
Uh-huh.
our ministry, that I want to show them how a Christian life, how a Christian lives their life, how they depend upon the Lord, how he comes through for them, how he teaches them, and how he molds them and makes them into who he wants them to be. I
Yeah.
want to show that to the uh, unsaved world so
Mm.
that they would want this relationship I talk about.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean,
But
that's that's the reason why most of the authors who do write Christian fiction, right? They want to reach those who may not be saved with the truth, right? and weaved in a beautiful story.
So, if I grip them enough with my story, I can keep a hold of them enough to share Jesus.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's great.
that's kind of my goal.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, it's wonderful. I love it. I love it. So, how did you develop your characters and their tangled relationships?
Um, I watch a lot of cop shows.
Okay.
I like I just and I like watch every African show that comes on, and I read African books to
Hmm.
just keep taking notes to and it. But as I do that, I want a theme of for them of each one of them has a goal, and they need to change, and how they do that. She's a rich girl. He's the maid's. I mean, they don't go together at all. And how he overcame that, and how she dealt with it, and how so I came to decide these two characters. First, I find their picture. I
Okay.
find a picture of them, and I fix me a photo album of these characters.
Uh-huh.
I keep going through sales magazines, regular magazines. I look online and print them out. I find who I want to talk about, and then I do all their character sketches and create who they are. And then I put a lot of conflict and because of their background, because of what they've been through, and
Mm,
bring that out. She's always been left alone. She's always been, and she feels like she's always going to be. But she learns the
mm,
Lord will never leave you or forsake you. And he says, I will. So anyway, I want a journey,
mm.
all of them, but I have to go back and I find their picture, then I read their story.
Okay.
So that's kind of, and I try to find quirky things about each one that
Yeah.
keeps it interesting,
Yeah.
that keeps it, and pain, hurts and pains of the past, and things that keep it interesting. And so
Okay.
that's how I do it.
Oh, okay. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think people realize how much work we do behind the scenes before we ever start writing.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I loved reading it, but I had no idea what it took
Yeah.
until I started going to conferences.
Yeah.
Just start one in the American
Yeah.
start going to these conferences that I began to learn this and so.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so important because without doing that work, we would have just flat characters, but when you take the time to really research and dig into their personalities, like you said, with the quirkiness and develop them as real people, that's what allows your readers to, like you said, really connect and immerse themselves with these people, that they're not just people on a page, but they're like people we carry with us later on.
Right. There was people on my teams that would bring or their child or their grandchild or their niece or nephew or friend, a character named Flat Stanley.
Yeah.
And they would have us take pictures with the lions back there,
Uh-huh.
feeding all the orphans
Yeah,
around Flat Stanley. I mean, that poor little character, he went everywhere. He
he
got
did.
arrogant, he got wrinkled, he went everywhere, but he was a flat character. He
Hmm.
was just, and I don't want my characters to be flat characters.
Yeah.
I want them to have personality. I want people rooting for them or hating my bad guy. I want
Yeah.
them to and hate him as much as I do.
Yeah.
And once I create that, then I know that I can keep my reader until I
Yeah.
write.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in addition to creating such great characters, you've also got the suspense, right? You've got to balance this romance and the suspense, weaving danger and love together. So do you find one comes more naturally to you than the other? Um,
The love part comes more naturally to me. I've lived a sheltered life, even though I lived in Africa and I had cobras in my yard. And I drove on the wrong side of the road with the steering wheel on the wrong side of the car,
yeah.
going around roundabouts and nearly getting run over. All the dangerous things that we did, uh, and that I did all those things, but so the danger makes it is harder
Mm,
because I was from the middle class, middle of America, sheltered Christian little girl, and I never have been around violence. I've not been around disease. I have not been around all the things that they face. I
yeah.
have had malaria 4 times, so I have that in my,
Mm,
but
okay.
because I did get that, I have reoccurring malaria in my body.
Wow.
So I have to be real careful when I go
Yeah.
back. I'm now in my 70s, so I have to be a little more careful than I used to.
Sure, sure, sure. Well, what was the most challenging or rewarding scene that you wrote in Chasing Tanzanite?
The most challenging was when he took a bullet from her
Mm,
and fell at her feet, and she instantly just all the things she'd been telling herself that he didn't love her anymore and she didn't care. She was trying to talk herself in because she was hurt from their relationship going bad. Oh, the
mhm.
long distance relationship didn't work,
Yeah,
but all that instantly fell away. And she's in danger. She's right there. She's doesn't have bodyguards because she's rich. And so she
yeah.
in the States has body. All of a sudden, it's a grow up,
Mm,
just a rubber meets the road. What am I
mm.
going to do? And so she steps into this scenario, keeps him alive, stops bleeding. But then she hears him. It's just it was a near death situation. But then she hears him calling out for the other a lady, a beautiful lady that's on the team, and she thinks I was right. He doesn't. And
Okay.
slips out and leaves. So it's the emotions going from this to this to this to this
Mm,
was a hard scene to do because I haven't been living.
yeah,
That was hard.
yeah. Okay. Well, what about rewarding?
Oh,
Uh,
I love my endings. I love my weddings. I love my quirky things happening, and I've been weaving in the other characters of the
huh.
in this. So I love doing that and getting their story started. Their story started while while I'm closing up that book because I got to be ready to jump into the next story. So
Yeah,
I love that. That's challenging, but I love doing it.
yeah, yeah. That is rewarding, right?
It
Uh,
is
it's so rewarding. So
when it comes together right, and you go, yeah,
yes,
that's it,
yes,
that's it. I
absolutely.
like it.
Yeah. So, how does your faith shape your storytelling? I know we've talked a little bit about, being a missionary, but really, how does that look like for you? What does that look like for you when you do that?
Um, since that is my focus, I'm a mission director at two churches here in Tennessee, and it is my focus still the call of my life when I was 14 to
Hmm.
work for the Lord, and then the call at when I was 40 to be a missionary has not changed. My
Hmm.
husband passed. I'm older. It has never changed. So it's still seeking the lost. It's still the same thing, but I'm just doing it in a different way.
Mm.
So through these words, I'm doing it. Through my work at my church, I'm doing it, and through going back to Africa and speaking and speak for the big national women's conferences and stuff in Africa. And I did that year before last and had uh 352 people say that
Mm.
at that conference. So it's seeking the lost is still in. No
Okay.
matter if it's I'm writing a guidepost article, putting a magazine article together, whatever I'm doing. I'm a certified copywriter as well and write newsletters for ministries. And
Okay.
no matter so whatever I'm doing, that is foremost
Mm.
because that's just my passion. And so
Okay.
I've just kept doing that.
Yeah.
But I've sure enjoyed my regular life as grandmother and all the other things as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But passion.
Well, that's beautiful. I love that, I love that you are so clear on your calling and your mission and that you're using different um formats, different I can't even think of the word I'm looking for, but you're speaking, you're writing, to be able to connect with people and share the truth of Jesus Christ. And so that's beautiful. And I'm sure that your readers s- gather that and sense that in your writing and hopefully carry that with them long after they've closed your books.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
That's my prayer that when things go rough in their life and they remember, wow,
Yeah.
is that really real?
Yeah.
And they seek out Jesus.
That's
That's worth it.
yeah, absolutely,
What
absolutely.
we do, we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's have a little bit of fun right
Okay.
now with in your books. Um, if you could transport yourself to one location in your series, Where would you go first and why?
Mombasa to the ocean. I love the water. I'd go right back to the setting of this book.
Hmm.
That's where I go. But secondly, I go on safari.
Ah,
There's nothing going to the beach and going to the safari. Those two things, that's my favorites. That's my reprieve. That's my reward for all the work in Africa was going to see the animals, taking pictures. I love photography and it's just a photographer's dream.
yeah,
But I love just being outward. God just created all this.
yeah,
It's just vast and it's big and it's majestic. I
yeah,
like to go out there and experience that naturally.
yeah. We um we did not go to the Kenya coast. We went to the Seychelles, um,
Uh-huh.
and then we went on a safari. And so it was people ask me, you've traveled, where all have you gone? Is your favorite? And so going on that trip to Africa, I've been to Africa several times, in Egypt and different places. But that trip to the Seychelles and to the safari is like number two on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
there's just
nothing
nothing like it.
And
Right.
I've hundreds of times because every time a team came, we took them to the Sahara and took them to Serengeti, but they
Yes.
got to go out on like 5 or 6 different safaris, and I went on every single one. I just didn't want to miss one. They're always it's just maybe the same animal. Some they're doing something different. There's a different Photoshop,
Yeah.
photos opportunity. There's just stuff. It just changes all the time, and
Yeah.
I just had to be a part of it. It was
Yeah.
just fun.
It is.
That's fun.
We're planning another safari. We're trying to work that out. So I definitely will want to do that again. So I love it. So I can see why you would too. So
Yes.
all
I
right. So let's talk if Chasing Tanzanite became a movie, which is always a possibility. Who would you love to see cast as Angelica and Tanner?
Catherine Zeta-Jones and Antonio Banderas. Those are
Oh, okay.
that's the picture in my mind of who the characters were.
Okay.
As I
Okay.
was writing this, as I was describing them,
Hmm.
their mannerisms, some of the that's who they look like the characters I pulled out of
Okay.
and
Good.
I use for these two.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
That's who I would want. But
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
love
that's
it.
possible. There you
That's
go.
that's so fun. That's so fun. All right. Well, before we get to how people can connect with you and where they can find your books, let's have some fun with the lightning round questions. And
Okay.
these are just first thing out of your mouth. Um, and so funny because the first question I have is safari adventure or beachside retreat?
Uh-oh. Well, I would have to say Safari.
Okay, okay. Do you plot everything out or discover as you go?
Plot it all out.
Oh,
Everything's plotted.
gotcha.
I don't want to slump the slurping middle in the book.
Yeah, yeah.
Slumping. I don't want its dead spot. I want it to keep them moving, keep them turning pages to turn.
Good. All right. Awesome. All right. Pumpkins or mums for fall decor?
Mums.
Mums. Okay. All right. So back to your writing. Romance first or suspense first when you're writing?
Suspense first.
Okay.
Because the harder part,
Hmm.
the easier part for me is the romance, and it's easy to add that.
Yeah. And I could see how if suspense is harder, if you let yourself avoid the hard, then it would be too heavy probably on romance because
Yes,
it's like, yeah,
to keep balance, I have to do it.
yeah. Now that makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Last question. Reading with coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea. All right. What kind of tea?
Chai tea or Earl Grey or I'm just they do in I do like the way they fix the tea in Kenya with the milk and the sugar with it, but
Uh-huh.
also like Hershey's chocolate. It's almost there, and I enjoy them.
Oh, okay. Good. Good, good, good. I'm not a coffee drinker or a tea drinker unless it's sweet tea. So
Now I love sweet tea. Well, this it tastes like sweet tea with a little bit of it has a tang of chocolate. It did, but that's not there's no chocolate in it, but it just adds that feel.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, like I said, I want to, kind of wrap things up, and let people know how they can connect with you. Before I do, because I know We know there's another book coming up in the Paradise Inn series. So what can you, without spoilers, what can you tell us about what's next?
This guy in the second series was jilted at the altar in the first one.
Mm,
And he wants somebody. He goes to Africa and works with Daniel Bikini from his bad experience. And he really wants somebody who is true and not fake and everything's honest and above board. But the person who comes into his life is the best friend of Angie, and
mm.
she's in the wits of her. So nothing about it.
Okay.
It's real challenging, but
Yeah.
very fun. And
Oh,
it's they're in a fast paced uh four-wheel drive race called the Rhino Church.
uh-huh.
Uh, so it's they're part of the pit crew, and she's the photojournalist photographing this thing. And the way it's interwoven and the danger comes in and the snag and the stuff that comes in.
Uh-huh.
It he has to protect her, uh, but she has a little bit of snappiness about her, and it's very fun. Very
Oh,
fun. I've enjoyed it.
all right.
Enjoyed.
Well, that is sounds like another great book. And so if somebody wants to read that one and all your other wonderful books, how can they best connect with you?
Well, they can, my website is shirleygould.org, and that's an easy way, but they can also just, through Scrivenings Press
Mhm.
and on Amazon, my books are on Amazon, and just, I have a children's book there, and I have the other series and then this. So I'm just working.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. And I know that uh, from a publisher standpoint, we love having you as part of our Scrivenings Press family. And I know that your readers really are just loving your series, both this one and your previous one. So thank you for sharing your stories that are just so beautifully set in Africa and giving us a little piece of that when we can't just pick up and go there ourselves.
They can sit in their recliner and go on safari.
That's right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Shirley, for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure visiting with you. I hope that those of you who are watching or listening will check out Chasing Tanzanite, which releases on Tuesday, October 7th of 2025. You can pre-order it now on Kindle there on Amazon, and it will be available in paperback shortly thereafter. So again, thanks to everybody for joining us today on ScrivTalk. We'd love if you liked today's chat with Shirley that you'll give us a thumbs up, and that you'll also take some time to subscribe to our Script Talk channel so that other people will be able to find it as well. So until next time, and another great author, thanks for joining us.